This entire time I've been thinking about what Kate said about the fine line between social euphoria and death. And it's very accurate. So I'm just going to introduce Carrieann Cahall, who is Carrieann is an MFA fiction writer who will be living in a mansion with Guillermo del Toro. And because she loved and had such a great time at AWP this year, that mansion will be in Portland, Oregon, where instead of children, she will have a Penn Award and will be a llama farmer. She will have 35 publications, the first of which will be dedicated to the reading rainbow. So without further ado, Carrieann Cahall.
Yeah, so can you hear me? Because I'm kind of a mumbler, but I think it's good, right? Yeah. Okay. I was originally going to ask for audience participation, but I'm going to bail on that idea, and I'm just going to say thank you to everybody who is here and everybody who isn't here who saw me through it, because I also wanted to quit like 3 separate times. So I'm just going to go into it. This is a nonfiction piece from a forms class we took last semester. So, if it's shitty, it's sorry. But, okay. So, it's called An Exercise in Smiling. Papsaw is a thick paper made from the bark of the mulberry tree and folded precisely into even sections, sharp creases separating each page. This forms a light brown booklet that can be fixed to a wooden or leather cover or simply held shut by twine. The Lana people of present-day northern Thailand use these booklets to tell about everything from secular stories to talismanic, astrological, and ritual matter. As a culture adhering more to the oral tradition, it is more common to find physical evidence of its history in fine art, like paintings or woodwork, other than in artifacts of the written word. A diptych, a teak bench, a lullaby, all reach for the language of experience. Whether the stories are of tragedy and loss or loyalty and enlightenment, in some way or another they all language the thought of look how it is to be or have been alive. There are many wondrous things in Thailand. Ask anyone who has ever been. Travel guides write endlessly about the overabundance of cheap and exotic street foods, Instagram-worthy golden temples, and the friendly local population. It can be an experience of the familiar and unfamiliar intermittently, as if it has always been this way. Steamed salapao buns incubate inside the multitude of 7-Elevens in neighborhoods both affluent and deteriorating. In Bangkok, you can indulge in a meal for 8 at a popular shabu-shabu place in the local mega mall. In the dense mountains of Chiang Mai, every tourist's favorite activity seems to be bathing baby elephants and having them gingerly grab bananas out of the palm of their hands. Beaches in Phuket still have clear waters and endless young coconuts to fracture clean open and consume. Though the popularity of coral reef diving and pollution exacerbated by the steady surge of tourism may change those qualities soon. Thailand to many is seen as untouched by those repercussions of excess. These checklists and reviews are written with the kind of textbook exoticism that views the setting only as a vacation destination and not a place inhabited by actual people and long-established communities. But this is not the language I'm looking for here. There is a tea, mild and earthy in taste, that begins as an indigo blue potion in a cup. To make it, you steep butterfly peep flower leaves in hot water alongside tiny strips of lemongrass. The drink is served hot or cold. It can be sweetened with honey and served with a baby wedge of lime on the side. Nam Dok Anchan is a welcome drink. I would describe it as lemonade with an oddly creamy mouthfeel to it. The first time I encounter it is in an Ekamai suburb. My aunt Galaget picks us up and looks exactly like my grandma in younger years. The first thing she does is hold me by the arms, shrieking in glee, and looks at me as if I am an idol of the most well-regarded god. I smile politely and clumsily why, the customary gesture of greeting or thanks performed by clasping the hands, prayer-like, and bowing slightly in the head and shoulders. Her hug molds into my stiff form with ease. I haven't seen her in 15 years, and though I am glad to see her, I feel guilty for the dissonance in our reactions. We can't speak together, so she settles for holding my hand like one would a child as she gives us a tour of the house. At dinner, everyone keeps telling me to eat, but also keeps remarking on how much bigger I've gotten since I was a preteen the last time I was in the country. Of course, there are some of the few words and phrases I do know because my fluctuating weight has been a frequent concern of my parents. It's the cheese, my mother says. In America, everyone eats cheese. I want to note how I think that I am actually growing lactose intolerant, and I would attribute my recent weight gain to stress from grad school and periods of emotional binge eating, but this is not the language I'm reaching for either. My aunt prepares the namdok achan, and I drink 2 glasses, grinding the pulp of limes between my teeth. The second time I have this drink is at a textile museum in the city. This is where I learn the name butterfly pea flower. This is where I find out that it starts out blue and with even the tiniest spritz of lemon or lime juice quickly turns purple. I read a table sign that tells me it is often served to welcome guests as far back as the period of the Lana Kingdom. Somewhere in history, even further back than before my great-grandparents lived, some immeasurable speck of me gulped down entire mood ring seas. It seems to be an off day at the museum. No one is around, but the manager walks us through the exhibits and workstations anyways. He tells my parents, who then tell me, that when the tour buses come through, they have women come out and operate the looms. They didn't know anyone would be coming by today, thus the empty grounds. At the end of the private tour, in what I suspect is pity for not getting to view the museum at full operation, he takes us to the gift shop and makes us tea. To my immediate right, I realize there's a series of flat woven trays laying out in the grass, hundreds of hollow silkworm cocoons laying out in the sun, and I see them as corpses. I wonder what the other tourists see. I drink my cup and try to taste answers to every existential question I've ever had underneath the hints of grass and citrus. There are many wondrous things in the land of smiles, and I still always think of dying. Tourism in Thailand has been on a steady incline for the past few years, with a predicted 6% increase in tourist numbers for 2018, and this is coming off the already substantial count of 35 million tourists in 2017. If personal experience can add support to the estimates, there has only been one place where I did not see any signs of a foreigner, or Phalong as they're called by locals, and that wasn't even in Thailand. It was in Vientiane, Laos, in the neighborhood Wat, or temple, right around the corner from my grandma's house. Tourists are everywhere, and in some places even outnumber locals. I contribute to this occasional dominance. My dad, born in Chiang Mai and immigrated to the U.S. in the early 1970s, adds weight to the numbers. Even my mother, a Lao refugee during the Secret War, who passed her citizenship test thanks to rote memorization of U.S. historical and civics facts, is also part of the many folks who filter into Southeast Asia to get away. At the Airbnb in Bangkok, my dad looks out the window and points out the hotel where they filmed The Hangover 3 with more excitement than is normal for him to express. This is closer to the right language, but is something is off with the grammar. We are of here, but we are not. Thailand's slogan is the land of smiles. It is a matter of fine print. Yes, there are many things to be happy about and express joy in throughout the cities, towns, and villages that speckle the area. But the plurality of smiles is less dependent on the quantity of contented masses and more dependent on the flexibility of language and close observation. In Thai culture, one is not confined to express merely one kind of smile, but many, often separated into 13 distinct types. To smile can have numerous interpretations regarding one's mood or feeling in relation to any number of situations and interactions. The emotions associated with each can range from the feeling of having outwitted someone to that of covering up a deep sadness to save public face. They are all hardly representative of happiness, yet we are all smiling nonetheless. Thank you.